Hello, my name is Dapo Oduwole. I'm the Director General of the Office of Public-Private Partnerships, Ogun State Government in Nigeria. And I also have the privilege of being the Chair of the Advisory Board of the ACGC. Okay, outside of my professional life, I really do enjoy music. I love the rudiments, the arrangements, the composition, and the different instruments. So I really enjoy live music, and I love concerts. And that's one way of letting my hair down. I like to go out and watch and see and enjoy live music. And that allows me to enjoy the process that's introduced into concepts. So for instance, with my legal background, I like the process that we have to go through to come to decisions, to come to arrangements, to come to how we implement public-private partnership agreements. So I'd like to say a little bit of what I do outside of my profession, which I love and enjoy, actually influences what I do in my professional life. My vision for ACGC is to achieve higher visibility and recognition for ACGC across the continent of Africa. I would also like to implement or have increased membership. I think more people need to know about ACGC and its benefits. And I think more in my contact within my professional sphere, I am engaging more and more lawyers who are becoming more aware of ACGC, what it is, what its benefits are, and I've been encouraging them to join, and that's working. So increased visibility, increased membership, and also greater recognition by decision makers across the continent. So that includes people in government, parliamentarians, industry leaders, thought leaders, being more aware of ACGC as a resource base that they can tap into to help them with their decision making or problem solving. Well, I'll say that primarily the advisory board is what it is, advisory, and advising and supporting the executive team. So I'd like to see that continue at a higher level. I'd like to provide proactive advice and support to the executive team. I'd like the advisory board to continue to be an effective sounding board, kind of like a second bicameral resource available to the executive team for support, for advice, for suggestions, and also for running ideas by, and I'd like to see that continue. I'd like to be able to provide, I suppose, a knowledge base as well. The advisory board comprises of very knowledgeable, very experienced lawyers across the continent from different walks of life. And I think that's a fantastic set of skills to provide support to the executive team of ACGC. We look at in-house legal teams, and I think this goes across the continent. Because they're in-house, one of the major challenges would always be capacity. They're not infinite in terms of the resources available to them. So capacity is always a challenge. Resources is always a challenge as well. Skill sets, there's always the temptation to overgeneralize. Because they're an in-house legal team, they're meant to, or they expect to provide solutions to all problems, whether it's within or outside of their capacity and their competency. The competency is not a problem, it's more capacity, knowledge, skills base, flexibility, and also understanding from their instructing, I suppose, whoever is instructing them. Okay, wherever the instructions come from the managers, from the directors, from the board of directors. We want our in-house legal team to provide this advice, to support us on this transaction. And I suppose more often than not, because of their skill set, knowledge is there, but sometimes they need to go outside. So a challenge is always capacity, awareness, and availability of skills to support the needs of the organization or the corporate body. I think one of the benefits of ACGC is the wide availability of skills. And if you look at the ACGC being Pan-African, so we have lawyers and we have different law societies from different parts of the continent. So it's knowing where the skills are, knowing where the lawyers are, knowing where the help can be. ACGC can be a a knowledge base, a repository of knowledge and skills, and can lend itself to providing availability, letting the in-house teams know where they can get help, where they can go to, and availability of legal resources. And ACGC can help in this. Also, ACGC has been very, very good in providing proactive training sessions. We just had on AI, and we have more to come laid up, throughout the year. And that's a fantastic resource base for lawyers across the continent. And I think that's a very big thing that ACGC can continue to provide in-house lawyers across the continent. Final thought, I would say that ACGC is Africa-wide. So I'm not, some would say, it's a way of Pan-Africanism. I would say that it's a fantastic way to bring together lawyers and groups of lawyers from the north of the continent, from the south, from the east, and from the west of the continent, coming together, not just when we come together in the conference, but we can come together in between through seminars, through webinars, and also individually reaching out across to each other for help, to share knowledge, to share expertise. I think that's fantastic. Another good example of that is the African Continental Free Trade Area, the AfCFTA. That's brilliant. That's coming on board now. And more, 54 countries across the continent have subscribed to this, as are the lawyers from the individual component countries. And that's brilliant. So we have the Secretariat, which is knowledge-based as well. And we have different lawyers from different parts of the continent actually gaining knowledge and expertise. So they can advise their individual governments, and they can also contribute to the knowledge base that we have. And that's just one example of ACGC being a very stable knowledge base and being very fruitful for component members across the continent. So I would say that I also think that my last word would be ACGC Works. It's a brilliant concept, which was started some years ago. It's growing stronger, it's growing bigger. We're having more lawyers join. We're having more law societies across the continent, different countries, becoming more aware. And certainly I, as chair of the advisory board, one thing I would like to do is to increase participation and knowledge and membership. And that has started and is ongoing. So I would say ACGC Works, and the future is quite bright for ACGC and all the lawyer members.